Captain on the bridge.
Alright, Captains, we are back here on the bridge, and today, yes, we got some things to go over from Star Trek Online X feed, so on screen. Yes, Captains, before we get into this video, do us a huge favor, hit that like button to help this video, to help the overall channel out. Of course, if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing here to the YouTube bridge, where we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains to share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now, with that said, here we go. Yes, Captains, ECs are to be dropped, and of course, at the end, we'll give our conclusion. So first up here, so this week on PC, get several bonuses for your efforts in research and development. Earn bonus commendation XP for completing duty officer assignments, and get 20% off R&D and duty officer packs. So this is going to run from September 9th. So as the drop of this video, it has already started, and it goes up until September 16th. And again, this is going to be on the PC bridge. So all that goodness is happening. And of course, again, it's going to be for the R&D, all the stuff that comes with that. Of course, you're going to have 25% off too when it comes to the R&D packs. And you get extra bonus commendation when you're doing your duty officer assignments. But of course, during the event, you'll gain 50% increase in all commendation XP earned by completion of duty officer assignments. You don't need to do anything special, you just do it. And of course, the whole event of running around down there, not my favorite thing to do, but if you're a new captain, definitely recommend doing this. And of course, in addition, research and development packs will be available to captains for 20% off from September 9th to the 16th as well. And it's going to be $240 as opposed to $300. And there you go. And of course, another 20% off officer packs from September 9th to the 16th as well. And all the packs, the Gamma Reinforcements, Fleet Support, Romulan, Delta Pack, Federation, and Klingon packs. So there you go, Caps. We're going to leave, of course, everything that we go over in the description below, so you can go over it in your leisure. And we're going to spend most of our time definitely here on this. So next up, the USS Omega, the last starship, is about to take flight. We are happy to share another collaboration with IDW Publishing. Find out all the details from our art director, Thomas Marone, here. So I've already seen the ship around here, and it looks just like a kit bash of things, but mostly on a TOS Connie skeleton. I can't say that I like the look of it. I don't know anything of this, so Captains, if you want to educate me, definitely comment below. But let's go ahead over here and check out the blog, and you can see this is already in game. And I believe that looks like all Borgy technology, if you're asking me. But here you go. The last starship is starting its voyage. So find out more about our collaboration with IDW for their latest Star Trek comic release, The Last Starship. So soon, our friends at IDW Publishing will launch the first issue of their new groundbreaking Star Trek comic series titled The Last Starship. This series takes place in the Star Trek Discovery 31st century, immediately after the calamity known as the Burn. So this is in the future. Destroys almost every starship in the Federation simultaneously. It is a frightening turn and tumultuous time, and The Last Starship promises to explore these events with the Heart and Flair writing partners Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing have brought to their Star Trek comics over the years. Of course, a new series means a new starship. And in this case, the last starship, the USS Omega, makes its debut in The Last Starship #1 and carries Captain James T. Kirk, okay, and his new crew into the dangerous reaches of Galaxy Forever Change. It is a ramshackle, jerry-rigged example of Starfleet ingenuity compounded by desperation. The Omega is built on the bones of the ancient USS Theseus. Okay, another IDW ship we released in Star Trek Online back in 2023. But attached to the Theseus original skin are parts of several scavenged Starfleet ships from across the eras of Star Trek's past. So that's interesting. Okay, well here's the history of it. You can still chime in below, Caps. because I know nothing of this other than what we are reading here. But that's interesting. I like how they're throwing that into the lore there. So to celebrate the launch of the new series, we've again collaborated with IDW to bring the Omega to life in Star Trek Online. Keep an eye out on our website for more details next month. So we're in September, so this is going to be in October that we're going to be seeing this ship, it seems, or at least details. But in the meantime, be sure to pick up IDW Star Trek The Last Starship #1 when it releases September 24th, wherever comics are sold. In that issue, you'll also find an exclusive look at the process of adapting the Omega's unique design for Star Trek Online's gameplay. That's all for now, but before I go, I wanted to leave you with an image of the final in-game model of the Omega as a teaser for what you can expect next month. As always, thank you for exploring the final frontier with us. See you out there. That-a-way, Thomas Marone, our art director for Star Trek Online. So there is that. Again, this is saying that is kind of on the bones of the Theseus. It looks more of the Connie, but sure. And it being in the 31st century, I don't know why you see TOS type nacelles. That doesn't make sense to me. But it is what it is. So there is that. Now, they did also post this up. So we are proud and delighted to be part of the collaboration and can't wait to show you the ship in game. Find out more in our dev blog. So of course, here's just more pictures of it. So there it is, the last starship. So interesting. As you can see there, I'm not sure what type of ship that is, or these ships here and there, but there is that. And you have this thing here. Now I do have better images here, a little clearer. So we're just going to read this just to get a little bit more familiar with this. So ship's log. So Star Trek Online is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game where players command their own ship and experience their own Star Trek story. In the past several years, Stowe has partnered with IDW to bring elements from their award-winning Star Trek comics to life inside the MMO universe. Now, we're excited to talk about our latest partnership, The Last Starships. USS Omega is coming to Star Trek Online this fall. Hear what Stowe had to say about the process. So salvaged and then rebuilt from existing Starship pieces, the Omega has a unique visual look we had to bring to life in 3D and high definition. Decca, Stowe art lead Phil Dune, notes that the ship's story is a very interesting one, especially from a visual point of view, as it's so different on how the typical Enterprise may come into being. So exposed glider there, open hull panels, and mismatched parts make the Omega stand apart from starships we've seen in the past. But when we looked closer, we realized it was made up of components in existing Star Trek designs. We noticed pieces of the Constitution, Excelsior, and of course the Theseus. Once we homed in on the elements, we started to get a picture of how it would come all together. So Decca concept artist Jamie Armstrong Hughes was tasked with interpreting the original IDW art into a more detailed spec sheet our 3D artists could translate into a realistic video game asset. They spent time researching not just the Omega, but real-world machinery and inspired it. We pulled a lot from the early aircraft, mothballs to sell that cobbled together look. Jamie says a question we always come back to, particularly so on the Omega, is how is a ship actually built? What fictional processes are used to assemble these vast machines? So there's that, and then there's the last part here. In terms of fitting the ship to the setting, Dune notes one of the inherent issues when trying out Mad Max or Kit Batch designs is that they can often end up looking low-tech or even just damaged. Literally the thought process I had. It just looks put together and just looks bad. But that's just me. We knew this had to look like a ship from the 32nd century, so it was a tricky balance to get the super advanced tech and piece it together to look to get. It doesn't look like that, to be honest. Thomas Marone, of course, Star Trek Online's art director at Cryptic, feels strongly that ships are some of the most beloved characters in Star Trek. We know how Omega will be no different, that it has its own personality and visual voice. It is a symbol of hope and determination against all odds. We are proud of the work we've done to bring this to life in Star Trek Online, and we can't wait for players to take the con in Stowe very soon. So we're going to go back to the first one here. kind of have a closer look at this. So to me, it just literally looks like the skeleton frame of TOS ship. So it has that look to it, and it just doesn't, it's not really moving the needle for me, if anything. I love these that they always, I'm gonna probably use this for the thumbnail. I love always these concept arts of the ships that they put out there. So this looks cool. It literally just looks Borgified, but this does not scream 32nd century to me. It literally just looks like a TOS colony. Just like Borgified. Kind of like the impulse engines there. Great. I don't really see the Theseus really here in this, but sure. And you can see that NCC 1701 Omega. That's kind of cool, not gonna lie. And if we go here, have a closer look, you can see their inspirations there on how they put this together. But for some reason, it's looking really low tech. Like, look at the deflector dish. It's literally an antenna. But as you can see here, there is a bunch of comics there, but there is the last Starships comic cover. And yeah, all I can say about this is it's great that we're getting it. Don't get me wrong, Caps. It's great. I'm going to reserve judgment a little bit until it gets in-game. The looks of it, not doing it for me. The trading console, we'll have to see what they do with it. But most importantly, we'll have to see how it is acquired in Star Trek Online. Most likely a promo box, but wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if they decided, hey, here's a free ship? Having said that, the Theseus was not a free ship. It was a lockbox ship, and it is what it is. It would be nice if they did. Now, having said that, again, keep in mind, and this is for my newer captains because a lot of vet captains already know this, any ships released in 2025 via promo or lockbox will be available in the 2026 event campaign. So essentially, you can get it for time investment. And it took me 4 events to get my whole completion of the event. So it'll take about half a year to get it. There's a lot more ships in front of this, I'm not gonna lie, when we're talking about the looks, but that's enough. I'm gonna stop ranting about the looks. Caps, you already know how I feel, so I would like to know how you feel in the comments below. So that's gonna be it for the vid. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Again, comment below, let me know your thoughts on how you feel about the ship. If you're gonna get it, great. And of course, if you're new here, consider subscribing to the YouTube bridge, and we'll leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.